and 17 fences. The white flag is raised. That off. In the big race of the day, the big race of the year here at Gordon Park, spread across the first fence where Mr. Folk Patches blundered. We almost lost Augusta Gold, who was brought to a standstill and has been quickly pulled up. As the first to show is Expatriate with Eclat de Rear on the inside, last season's winner Cocoa Beach, then Scarlet and Dove, and they're followed out on the first of two full circuits by Longhouse Poet as they turn to head up the back straight. Eclat de Rear takes over the lead from Cocoa Beach. Foxy Jacks has moved up. And then Scarlet and Dove, an Expatriate and Longhouse Poet, 2.5 lengths to Dead Judy, the blue cap, Brayside alongside. And then Franco de Port and Mr. Folk Patches, and on the ropes and the top weight, Chris's Dream, Ascari at 10 next. Well back in these early stages is Deal Kerr, the yellow hat. And then Brahma Bull and Class Conti. The back marker is Smoking Gun and Detached as they go out over the second fence. All safely over. The leader is Eclat de Rear on to the first of 4 ditches, tracked by Foxy Jackson, Cocoa Beach Handy. In 4th place is Scarlet and Dove, and then Longhouse Poet and Brayside as they go away from another fence up the back straight. On to the 4th, Eclat de Rear is joined by Foxy Jacks, then Cocoa Beach, followed at this next fence by Longhouse Poet and Expatriate. Out wide is Ascari at 10. As they race up towards the 5th. 2 more to take them back to the straight, and Foxy Jacks has pressed ahead of Eclat de Rear. Cocoa Beach next with over in 4th, Longhouse Poet, a slow jump by On the Ropes and ridden along as a result as they go towards the 6th fence. The leader is Foxy Jacks by 2 lengths to Eclat de Rear and Cocoa Beach. Break of 3 lengths to Scarlet and Dove and Expatriate. And Longhouse Poet and Brayside. Dead Judy and Mr. Folk Patches, Ascari at 10 and Chris's Dream. Deal Kerr next with Franco de Port and On the Ropes and Smoking Gun. Has picked off a couple at the back of the field. Brahma Bull and Class Conti, twice placed in the races at the rear of the field. Heading back for the 3 fences in the straight. Numbers 7, 8, and 9. 8 will be their second ditch, and it's Foxy Jacks and Jonathan Moore. A couple of lengths in front of Eclat de Rear, and Rachel Blackmore in 3rd is Cocoa Beach and Davy Russell. Close up in 4th is Longhouse Poet and Darrow O'Keefe, and then Expatriate, who's followed in the second time by Scarlet and Dove. And Dead Judy next with Mr. Folk Patches and Brayside, and Deal Kerr has made up some bit of ground ahead of Ascari at 10 and Franco de Port, and then Chris's Dream. And On the Ropes and Class Conti, Brahma Bull and Smoking Gun is back at the rear once more. At fence number 8, the end of a circuit, Foxy Jacks up and over from Eclat de Rear. There's 3 lengths between them, and then Cocoa Beach and Scarlet and Dove and Longhouse Poet, who's being followed by Mr. Folk Patches and then Dead Judy and Expatriate, and on the inside, Brayside, the black and white colours. Over the fence, that'll be the last one next time. In the €100,000 Goffs Thyestes, and out in front is Foxy Jack, enjoying a 3.5 length advantage over Eclat de Rear, Cocoa Beach, Longhouse Poet. And they're followed away on their final circuit by Expatriate. Scarlet and Dove is next with Mr. Folk Patches. Franco de Port has moved up to mid-division, and then Ascari at 10. They've passed the halfway stage. Another 8 fences left to jump. And it's Foxy Jacks by 4 to Eclat de Rear and Cocoa Beach. 3 lengths to Expatriate, who's in between Longhouse Poet and Scarlet and Dove and Mr. Folk Patches. Dead Judy next with Deal Kerr working up. Franco de Port is on the outside of Ascari at 10, and then Brayside, Chris's Dream, and On the Ropes and Class Conti, Brahma Bull and Smoking Gun. On to the first of the fences up the far side. It's Foxy Jacks, the leader, by a couple of lengths to Eclat de Rear, who made a slight mistake, lost second to Cocoa Beach, then Longhouse Poet, the big gamble of the race on the outside of Mr. Folk Patches, and then Scarlet and Dove. Heading to the next up the back, the second last ditch, 7 fences from home. Foxy Jacks got that one badly wrong. Relinquished the lead to last year's winner, Cocoa Beach. Still right up with them is Eclat de Rear and Longhouse Poet. Out by the trees is Franco de Port as they jump the fence less than a mile from the finish, and it's Cocoa Beach in front. from Longhouse Poet, moving up on the outside of Expatriate, and then Eclat de Rear. Foxy Jack shuffled back on the inside of Mr. Folk Patches. Deal Kerr is is starting to close ahead of Franco de Port. Then Scarlet and Dove and Iscardi at 10. Next is Jet Duty, followed by On the Ropes and Chris's Dream. And well back is Brayside. Heading to the fourth last fence, and it's Cocoa Beach a length in front of Eclat de Rear. Longhouse Poet closing on the inside is the grey Mr. Folk Patches, the blue jacket. With Deal Kerr, Eclat de Rear, a mistake there. Foxy Jacks also blundered, was dropping out at the time. It's Cocoa Beach by 2 lengths. From Longhouse Poet, Eclat de Rear nudged along. On the inside, Mr. Folk Patches with Deal Kerr. And Franco de Port, 2 lengths to Iscardi at 10, and then Scarlet and Dove and Expatriate is weakened ahead of Debt Judy, and then On the Ropes and Chris's Dream and Class Conti and Smoking Gun. They've 3 to jump. Less than half a mile to go as they swing into the straight, and they're beginning to tighten up front. Cocoa Beach from Longhouse Poet, Mr. Folk Patches pushed up in between them. Escardi at 10's cutting through the field. Franco de Port is on the outside of Deal Kerr, weakening as Scarlet and Dove. Dropping back is Eclat de Rear. They're at the third last fence, and they're spread across it. Cocoa Beach from Longhouse Poet, Mr. Folk Patches there on the far side. On the stand side, Franco de Port with Deal Kerr and Iscardi at 10, the second last. Mr. Folk Patches and Longhouse Poet, they're spread across the track. Franco de Port, the near side of Deal Kerr, coming to the final fence in the Goffs Thyestes, and the leader is just Franco de Port on the near side of Longhouse Poet. These two inside the final 150 yards. Longhouse Poet and Darragh O'Keefe on the far side from Franco de Port. Longhouse Poet wins the Goffs Thyestes for Darragh O'Keefe and Martin Brassil, who last won it with Numbersixvalverde back in the 90s. Franco de Port, Mr. Folk Patches, and Deal Kerr chased home the winner.